people outside England would be saying.
In short, from your perspective, from your point of view, there's really nothing that Keir Starmer can do to build a bridge.
No, he needs to resign. He needs to resign before 4 years. I think he needs to resign in the next 3 months. And the other thing is, the things that these people that he's put into cabinet posts have said about Trump are not gross. They are way beyond gross. So in the past, if somebody had said things like they've said about Trump, it would really be a dueling matter. So if somebody had said things like that a couple 150 years ago, they would be challenged.
As news of Jeremy Clarkson's arrest spread, public frustration with Keir Starmer reached a boiling point. And then something unexpected happened. Elon Musk, a high-profile figure, immediately stepped into the spotlight to show his support for Clarkson. Musk, known for his unapologetic outspokenness, wasted no time in criticising Starmer for the authoritarian actions that led to the arrest. Let's dive into this shocking turn of events and the latest hot news from across the country. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hey, morning, Mr. Clarkson, PC Campbell.
Like, I don't think I should go to, visit Britain, because they're gonna drag out some, tweet and say 2 years in prison for this tweet or something bullshit like that, So anyway, I think that's, with Trump elected, we can put a stop to that stuff and say no.
Okay. You'll be out of jail in 20 minutes.
Mr. Clarkson, could I ask you just to calm down? And your continued presence here has constituted a breach of the peace. So therefore, I'm also arresting you, okay? Under Public Order Act, okay? You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your...
This controversial event has thrust the former renowned presenter into the eye of a public storm, though not for positive reasons. Elon Musk's intervention not only shows his support for Jeremy Clarkson, but also delivers a powerful blow to the stifling political atmosphere in the UK, particularly aimed at Keir Starmer and his lacklustre leadership. Musk's image, enjoying a Hawkstone beer from Clarkson after the protest, seems to subtly signal his open backing for the man being attacked by the public. However, Musk's move goes beyond merely siding with Clarkson. Beneath it lies a sharper message. A direct critique of the UK government's handling, as well as its oppressive attitude towards those who dare speak the truth that the political establishment wishes to bury. Musk's bluntness serves as an uncompromising reminder to those in power, lacking the backbone to face opposing views.
Well, first let me say I think England has gone back to the Tudor times, not America. You've just gone back 400 years with this government that you've got. Look, I don't think Elon gives the British government a second thought. I mean, he has made these pronouncements that everybody has seen. I probably made the same pronouncements. He's just in a position that people listen to him. So, the two-tier policing system is quite obvious. The craze to increase taxation in America, in the UK is obvious. The sort of things they're doing, the opening up of the borders, the providing 4-star accommodation for people from third world countries at the expense of British people is, it's obvious. So, I would say that, any sensible person would say, what the heck, this is England. How am I ever going to go to England again? Looks like England's out for the future.
So that's what people... The story takes on a more personal tone when Elon Musk shares a meaningful and intriguing moment with Jeremy Clarkson. During his visit to the UK, Musk not only shared a beer with Clarkson, but also sent a strong message of support for the man who dared to stand up for what's right. This small yet impactful gesture quickly became seen as a symbol of strong resistance. It wasn't just about drinking beer. It was Musk's public way of honouring Clarkson's bluntness and his firm stance against Keir Starmer. Clarkson, who is well known for his unapologetic straightforwardness, had previously declared that Keir Starmer was the only person banned from his farm and pub.
Jeremy? What's going on here?
Well, you've accidentally opened our pub before it's kind of finished.
It wasn't really supposed to open for 4 or 5 weeks, was it?
No, it's going to be very many weeks before we've got it open, but... Thank you.
But by mistake, it seems like there's a whole load of people in here, in our pub, which isn't open.
Accidentally do that, yeah.
This act was not just a joke, it carried a meaningful message. Clarkson firmly asserted that he would not be bowed by the criticisms aimed at Starmer, and Musk's attitude clearly showed his unmistakable agreement. The moment of raising a glass with Clarkson was Musk's public statement, a clear display of support for the man who dared to challenge those in power who lacked the courage to stand up.
Very sensitive to the taste of bitter. Bitter tastes beer. Beer tastes better.
I'm likely to like this beer. Let's see what happens.
As beer goes,
Jeremy then spoke out. Mr. Musk shared on social media this week that he's not particularly fond of beer, but when it comes to beer, Hawkstone is a pretty great choice. So I just want to reply that I completely agree. Hawkstone really is excellent. In a time when many celebrities tend to steer clear of political issues, Musk's provocative tweets created a powerful wave of attention, not only because of their timing, but also due to their sharp content. If the arrest had already sparked controversy, Musk's uncompromising stance only deepened the divide between those craving change and the ruling class determined to maintain their power. Musk was unafraid to directly attack Starmer's policies, emphasising that they were hurting the people and destroying the traditional pillars of British society. Not just a fleeting remark, in the following days, Musk used Twitter as a powerful tool to directly criticise Starmer's leadership. Musk's posts revealed his frustration and confusion over the political situation under Starmer's leadership. His statements were sharp, decisive and impactful, not only targeting Starmer personally, but also laying bare the growing discontent with the blind direction of British politics.
If he wants to know what Conservatives would do, he should resign and find out. Until then...
I'll decide when there's more.
Mr. Speaker, until then, I'm the one asking the questions. There's a petition out there, 2 million people asking him to go. He's the one who doesn't know. He's the one who doesn't know how things work. It is not government that creates growth, Mr. Speaker. It is business. His employment secretary, I don't see her here, she wants more young people in work. But businesses say they are cutting jobs because of the Chancellor's budget. His Deputy Prime Minister, she is not here. Her employment rights bill will stop businesses hiring. That's what they say. The CBI said on Monday that the dots of the government's policy don't join up. They're right, aren't they?
The tech billionaire openly admitted that he doesn't understand what's happening in the UK at the moment. But for many, his statement resonated deeply. Thanks to his global platform, Musk's views have spread far more widely than would have been possible without this media channel. Musk's series of tweets not only criticised how Starmer handled the Clarkson affair, but also reflected deep dissatisfaction with the British leadership, especially regarding the vague and indecisive policies they are pursuing.
And she talks about a petition. We had a massive petition on the 4th of July in this country. We spent years taking our party from a party of protest to a party of government. They're hurtling.
For Musk, the issue isn't about the specific details of British politics, but rather about supporting those who dare to speak out frankly without fear of political retribution. When his tweets surfaced, it was clear that Musk wasn't just criticising Starmer's handling of the Clarkson affair, but also strongly opposing the overall direction of British politics under his leadership. Musk's frustration wasn't only about the arrest or the attention-grabbing tweets, but also about how the government treats those who have been and continue to be the backbone of British society, the farmers. Musk sided with Clarkson, not just because of their personal relationship, but because of his deep respect for the farming community. Clarkson, a well-known media figure, made waves by joining farmers' protests, forcefully speaking out against the government and highlighting the struggles faced by agricultural workers. Musk also didn't hesitate to express his support for those who are pushed to the margins of society and ignored. Farmers, especially those like Clarkson, who have poured countless hours into their land, are now facing numerous challenges. Musk's support stems from the belief that hard-working people like farmers deserve the respect and proper support from the government rather than being forgotten.
The world's richest man, Elon Musk, has an audience of tens of millions of people who read his tweets. He has described the UK as a police state. He said, "You have gone full Stalin." This makes the backdrop to you trying to get investment into this country really hard. You must have a message for Elon Musk.
We've been in power for 4.5 months now. And I've made inward investment into this country one of my top priorities, because that investment.
But if he's calling you Stalin, why would anybody
hear me out?
invest?
Hear me out, Robert. I've made that my mission because I know that inward investment will mean better jobs right across the country. Since we've been in power, we've brought in over £60 billion of investment from around the world. That's a record sum of money, and therefore that for me is vindication that the approach that we're taking to the economy, which is to stabilise it, to be strategic and long-term in our decision making, is the very thing.
The farming community is not the only group feeling disillusioned. Even retirees are struggling with hardships. Starmer's policies, with cuts to spending and increased taxes, have caused many elderly citizens to lose all trust in him. These are individuals who have dedicated their entire lives to society, only to witness a government focused solely on reducing national debt instead of caring about their own future. For many, it seems as though Starmer is trying to balance the budget by burdening the most vulnerable members of society. As dissatisfaction in the UK grows, a petition calling for a new government quickly surpassed 2.5 million signatures. Although Starmer dismisses it and claims it won't change anything, the overwhelming support reflects the public's exhaustion with empty promises. The working class in Britain, from farmers to retirees, are fed up with being treated as insignificant. They are demanding change, but whether Starmer is alert enough to listen to them remains an open question. The petition demanding a new government, fueled by anger at Starmer's leadership, quickly hit 2.5 million signatures. This is not the voice of a small group, but a wide-reaching movement across the country. Farmers, retirees and ordinary workers are united in calling for a leadership change. However, despite the strong support, Starmer dismisses their calls with cold indifference. The petition not only reflects dissatisfaction with Starmer's leadership, but it has become a symbol of despair in the UK, a country yearning for change. People feel ignored, and this petition is their way of demanding that their voices be heard. Yet, Starmer's indifference only highlights the growing divide between the political elite and the people. If Starmer thinks this petition will be quickly forgotten, he is mistaken. The UK has spoken, and clearly change is inevitable, whether he acknowledges it or not.
You, Mr. Speaker. As everyone in the House will be aware, we're currently in the middle of BBC Anti-Scam Awareness Week. And of course, the advice in that context is always simple. If you see a scam, you should report it. So with that in mind, can the Prime Minister advise the House? Is he aware of anyone who's promised to reduce energy bills only for them to increase? Is he aware of anyone who promised to back business only to tax business? And is he aware of anyone who promised to protect pensioners only to pick their pockets for their winter fuel allowance?
Instead of supporting the wealthy and powerful, Musk has used his platform to expose the struggles of ordinary people. Farmers, retirees, and those who feel their contributions to British society are being overlooked. This is not just a clash between a famous star and a politician, but the voice of a movement defending those who have no place in the corridors of power. Keir Starmer's promises to the farming community now stand as a bitter testament to his betrayal of their trust. Before taking office, Starmer promised farmers that his inheritance tax plan would not affect the majority of them. He claimed only wealthy farms would be taxed, a promise many trusted to ease their concerns. However, what followed was a wave of anger and disappointment from farmers across the UK. When thousands of them took to the streets to protest in freezing cold conditions, it became clear that Starmer's commitment was nothing more than empty words.
And let me also say to large social media companies and those who run them, violent disorder clearly whipped up online, that is also a crime. It's happening on your premises, and the law must be upheld everywhere. That is the single most important duty of government. Service rests on security, and we will take all necessary action to keep our...
The current protests are not simply a reaction to tax hikes, they are a powerful cry from those who feel betrayed by the government. These are individuals who have spent their entire lives building, preserving and developing farms and businesses passed down through generations, only to now face government tax policies that make it harder to pass those values on to their children. Farmers, once considered the backbone of the British economy, are now being forgotten as Starmer's tax policies seem to entirely ignore the contributions and efforts they have made over the years. The government not only fails to recognise their role, but also creates further obstacles, rendering their hard work meaningless. What makes the situation even more serious is the enormous scale of the protests. If, as Starmer claimed, only the wealthiest farms would be affected by the new tax policies, then why are thousands of farmers from across the country flooding the streets, joining protests and voicing their anger? The clear contradiction between Starmer's empty promises and the reality farmers are facing has not only caused frustration, but also sparked a deep wave of outrage. These farmers are angry not just because of the tax hikes, but because they feel pushed to the brink, abandoned by the government, which should have been the ones to protect and advance their interests. They feel forgotten, pushed into hardship, while the sacrifices and contributions they have made over the years should have been honoured and celebrated.